They love everybody. They just love everybody, don't they?
No, want to see a trick?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get Oliver to do a trick. Come on, Oliver. Oliver. Here, bud. No, no.
Oliver.
Down
A
here.
great name for a
Come on,
dog.
bud. Oliver. Come here. Down. All right, jump. No, no, jump here. Right here. Jump. Yeah. Yay!
Do it again.
Okay, ready? Do it again. Whoop, you got your foot caught. Okay, ready? Listen. Calm down. Come on, jump. Jump. No, no, jump. Come on. Oh. Come on, bud. Bud. Come on. You know he's too excited he can't. Come on now. Ready? Jump. Jump. Whoop. You need to jump as high that. Yeah, yay. Good boy.
The tail. I never can get over that tail. Is terrific.
All right, Penny. Where'd you go, Penny? Come on. Here, Pen. Hey, Penny. Hi, Pen.
She's a rescue too.
Penny's scared.
Hi, Penny.
She's a rescue too.
Come here.
Yeah, thank you for rescuing them.
Yeah, that's them.
You know the little one who passed on?
Mimi, yeah.
I have a nice close-up of her.
They're so cute.
That was about 2 years ago, wasn't it? Remember?
No, last
I think
last
yeah.
February. It was only last February.
Oh, really? Uh-huh. It was the night of the party.
Yeah. So my daughter calls this one Pipster the hipster. Go see Glendora. Go see her. Go on. Go see her. She's over there. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey. Come on over here.
Oh, I love them.
Over here, guys.
I love them.
They're happy. They're happy. They're so happy. They're happy.
Oh, they're so friendly and so affectionate. So friendly and so affectionate.
They play, see? Right.
Somebody asked the dog, "Are you bilingual?" And he said, "Woof, meow."
Are you ready to go back in, guys? Come
Yeah,
on.
Historic Eastfield. Founders Day. Don Carpenter. I miss him so. There was nothing anybody could do for him. We just stood by. Why couldn't we do something for him? First annual Founders Day celebration. Save the date. Saturday, September 19th, 2015. This is from Melody Howorth. I think Don went all over, and when buildings were being destroyed and burned and junked, he would take the pieces and he would bring them to his farm, to his house. And he started Eastfield, and he would reconstruct these buildings. and he was a member of the Historic Preservation Committee, Nassau, town of Nassau. Melody's the chairman. I think it's $20. Last night, the Glendora Vegetarian Club gave the Nassau Historic Preservation Committee $100 donation. And we discussed having markers put on these houses that were built before 1820. One house on this street was built in 1784. No, maybe 87. After the Revolutionary War, right after it. General Burgoyne had to surrender to General Gates at Saratoga in 1777. Burgoyne's plan was to invade the colonies from Canada, but he didn't get the support that he expected. Burgoyne had to be taken as a captive. He turned his sword over to Gates, and he was brought down from Saratoga to Kinderhook, where he stayed in that house I've shown you across from the Kinderhook Reformed Church on Route 9. Thence he went across what is now 9H and Route 23 to Boston, the Boston Post Road, and taken to England and taken to George III. Now, it was a turning point in the Revolutionary War because the French, after that happened, the French began to support the colonies against England, something the French liked to do. And also the Pope began to support the colonies if the colonies would write into their constitution freedom of religion for the Roman Catholics. Where's the car, honey? Look at Big Jim.
Look at Big Jim.
Yeah, where's the car, honey? Go get the car.
Get the car. I gotta
And we're just so lucky for the driving that the weather held up.
Oh yeah, the
New
weather's
cars
super.
are like the old days. Remember the old days? You push a button to start the car? Well, that's what this car does. Look, you just press this button, put your foot in the brake, and press it, and it starts. You don't even need a key.
So Glendora, what kind of a video recorder is that? It's nice if it's
This
small.
is a JVC, Iverio.
You know, we talked about doing that because we haven't done videos in a long time. I used to do the family history. I need you to put your seatbelt down, though.
A mill for several people.
This building.
Right here,
It is a
yeah.
mill.
Yeah.
1884.
And nobody's ever tried to fix it up again?
And here's the Valatia Kill, here, right
Oh,
here.
yeah. It's not a fast-flowing river anymore.
It starts way up at the Burden Lake.
Thomas Skodak.
Okay, and that's the other road. Yeah, this is,
I've never
you've left
come down
Nassau, by the way.
I don't think I've ever come down this way.
What are we in now?
Skodak.
Now it's Skodak.
Yeah, you're still Rensselaer County.
Now, this does not go to Lions Lake, no? That's
No,
somewhere
Lions
else.
Lake is off of Route 20. You will be
Yeah.
passing that when
Yeah.
you leave me.
I've done that one once, yeah. That was pretty. So I've never come down this road, I don't think.
Very pretty road.
You know, didn't Marty have a friend out here We lived in a field. It was out this way, I think. Years ago.
Instead of going to the trolley line place to eat, we can go to the Pirates Cove here.
You decide.
They
wherever you
both
like.
have vegetarian hamburgers.
Okay. How pretty.
Oh, it is pretty. It's pretty. All of Rensselaer County and Columbia County are pretty.
It's so interesting because coming from Connecticut, I mean, when I think of New York, I think of a totally different New York.
I can always see the difference between New England and New York, can't you?
Right.
I can instantly feel the difference.
It's harder though because there's so many New Yorkers in the Berkshires in the summer. This is a beautiful lake I didn't even know existed.
Yes.
Nassau Lake.
When you see the restaurant up here on the right, pull in.
Oh,
Sure.
wow.
This is nice. This is close by.
Here
This
it is.
is like Pontusic.
Man-made lake.
Not glacier, huh?
No.
Isn't this neat?
Now here's the restaurant, isn't it? Up here.
Get up here. Lily pads? There must be fish in there if there's lily pads. Yeah,
Well,
here
this
they are.
lake, unfortunately, General Electric
They messed this one too, huh?
and Bendix and all the others
They poured
dumped
these-
here
Oh, like Silver
in the
Lake in
50s.
Pittsfield.
And do you think they knew what they
Is
were
this
doing?
an outdoor place, indoor place?
Outdoor and
You want
indoor.
to sit outdoor or indoors? We can
Outdoors.
try the other place too. I'm fine with that.
No,
We were
outdoors.
outdoors. Okay. Watch your head. Okay. Special mile-high fries. Large fries topped with pulled pork. Pirate treasure nor a finger finer summer pleasure than a gift certificate from Pirates Lakeside.
And then French fries, how many sizes?
Get one of those big
I have a
vegan burgers.
small or a regular. I'll get 2 regulars.
Okay,
And I think that'll be good for us.
okay. Anything to drink?
No, I think they got their juice boxes.
Okay.
And your name?
Dave.
Good. And here, okay. So I got 3 Nations, big fry, 2 fries.
Hi.
46.
How you doing?
I need 3 Nations, Sea Dog, and 2 regular fries.
This is our treat.
No, no,
This
no.
is our treat.
No,
Absolute.
no.
Absolute.
Treat.
Absolute.
No.
Absolute.
Uh-uh.
Absolute.
Our
I'm standing in front of you. It's our treat. Sauteed mushrooms on any sandwich. What's on them? Looking for
3
the.
vegetarian hamburgers.
This is a vegetarian. I don't see
They've
it.
got, I see, they have a good
All right, thank you.
Where's that?
Right here.
3 vegetarian hamburgers.
That sounds good.
Hi, sweetie.
And it's our treat. Don't let this woman give you anything. And what would you like with
How
it?
are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. What I want, lettuce and tomato, that's all.
Is that a spy camera?
No, she
Huh?
takes pictures of everything.
Oh, okay. You do?
Yeah, haven't you seen it?
Huh?
Haven't you seen it?
No, where do you
YouTube
post them?
Glendora. YouTube Glendora, Nassau.
Oh,
You
okay.
gotta get his
I gotta check
advertisement.
that out, yeah.
you might as well advertise them, right?
Yeah, you gotta have, you
So
know.
you're gonna get the same thing? All right. Well, I guess
What you
we're all
gotta
getting-
do is have like a map of Nassau, you know, and you have like, you know, the library, a little dot for the library, and a little dot for Stewart's shop, and then this big Pirates Lakeside Grill in the middle. Yeah.
Ah, give her ideas.
Okay,
Watch out,
yeah,
she'll be
okay.
bad. So we're all gonna get veggie burgers?
Yeah, and I'm going to have water.
Okay.
Lettuce and tomato sounds good. I have onions on mine if you got that.
Okay,
Yeah.
grilled onions?
Regular onions, fine. Any grilled onion, I
Okay.
like onions. It gives it spice.
Okay.
And you'll have a water. Do you want a water? Do you
Yep,
have
just water.
Okay, you want a water?
So does everybody want lettuce and tomato?
Yep, it works.
Okay.
Glendora, do you want fries?
Would you like some fries?
Sure, 1 order of fries would do for all of us.
Okay, yep, it's a good thing to share. We encourage sharing here at the Pirates Lakeside Grill. Okay,
And I'll get a Diet Coke, I think. I'm going to
Okay,
tell
Diet
myself
Pepsi?
chemicals today. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah, chemical day probably.
Yeah, it gets your, you know, gets you revved
I
up.
got
well.
something to tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body, and the right
That's
side of
right,
the bone,
yeah.
brain controls the left side of the body,
Mm-hmm.
and only those people who are left-handed are in their right minds.
No. They have what?
Only those people who are left-handed are in their right minds.
In the
They're
right,
in the right
minds.
mind.
That's right.
Now, I heard
what
a
I
really
say.
good one this morning when we were at breakfast. This was a business card of the pizzeria in Pittsfield when I was a kid. The business card said on one side, when an old man dates a young woman, that's his business. When a young woman dates an old man, that's her business. Turn this card over and you'll see our business. And on the other side was your dad.
Oh,
Isn't that cute?
very good.
That was cute.
That's good.
All right, Pirates Lakeside.
Okay. Okay, so I got a Diet Pepsi, a water.
What do you want to drink?
Did you want anything to drink?
Just water.
Okay. Water. Okay. So we got,
And I hope you have a restroom somewhere. Or do I have to use the lake?
yeah, I do.
Glendora, let's just sit down.
I had some coffee today. We were in Syracuse this morning.
Order fries.
They have a beautiful merry-go-round in Syracuse in the mall. Big mall there, beautiful big merry-go-round.
You saw there?
It's antique. Not this time. We saw it before.
2508.
Okay, we saw it once before, but not on this trip. I think I have change for your 08.
Yeah, dime would be good.
We're getting a new director at the library.
What's that?
We're getting a new director at the library.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're interviewing.
Oh.
You remember how you went to the library and got ideas?
Yeah.
When you opened? Remember when you opened, you went to the library and you asked the staff for ideas and they told you to have a vegetarian hamburger? Remember that?
Uh-huh.
They remember it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, see
Thank
there? Did I listen or what?
You listened.
Yeah.
You got 'em, you got 'em.
And that's why we're here today.
Okay, good.
I got lots of good stuff for you. I'm a member of this club here, the Parrot Head Club. Have you ever heard of that? You should get involved in that. My goodness. They do charity work throughout the country. There are 200 chapters throughout the United States.
Uh-huh.
And every year people our age go down to Key West, Florida for 4 or 5 days. And all the Jimmy Buffett type music and whatever, and they raise money for the police department, the children's services. We raise it for Alzheimer's, for heart, all that. It's a volunteer group of people who like that kind of
Very
music.
nice,
Yeah, yeah.
Just
But they do a lot of he wrote a book called The Pirate Looks Back at Being 40. Jimmy
Oh,
Buffett.
no, I
you
didn't
should
know
get that
that.
out of the library. Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, if you go...
Go out the end of the pier and then just make sure
yeah.
nobody's looking, right?
Step down.
Exactly. Now go through this little door that's
Okay.
ajar, but carefully because it's a tool shed.
Okay,
And
the jar in
move
there?
around to your right.
Jackie!
And when you go up the step, it's on your right.
Where's Jackie?
Right here, Glendora.
Let's go there, Jackie.
Perfect.
Yeah, and step up, honey.
Okay.
Step up, baby.
I was watching this family of 3-year-old triplets
Oh.
and then a little baby.
Oh, this is a nice
Oh,
spot.
this is gorgeous. Very, very lovely.
Okay.
All right.
It's a nice shady one.
Shady is good.
Well, thank you for the treat.
Oh, absolutely.
I wanted to treat you so
No,
badly.
I'm sorry. You treat me with all your jokes.
Why are traffic cops happy at their work? Happy on their jobs? Why are they happy on their jobs?
Traffic cop. See, Jim is good at guessing, and I just am too quick at saying, okay, tell me.
Because they whistle while they work.
I like
They
it.
whistle while they
I
work.
like it. There is this great traffic cop in Rhode Island, in Providence, that literally, when you said that, it just reminded me. He just, and people go around the block just to see him. Because he just does this. He whistles and he does these dances and turns around. I was talking to Glendora about the, remember the traffic cop in Providence? That
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
Because her joke just reminded me of him.
Oh, yes.
But he just, and again, but I think there's more traffic because he just keeps, people keep
So-
going around in a circle.
So they don't allow swimming in here, or it's too polluted
Oh, you
to swim?
mustn't swim in here. It's
can't.
not
Yeah.
safe.
Isn't
I didn't
that
finish
sad?
my story. There was a man here, and since he's left the village and his whole family, because he ran a dump and he let General Electric come in and put in all these things in the 1950s. And then it went into the ground and then it went into the lake.
In the 50s. Now,
Such a
GE's
shame.
not even near here, is it? Is it in Albany?
Oh,
Or the
sure,
Pittsburgh?
GE's in Schenectady.
Oh, the big one in Schenectady.
Yeah,
That's still quite a
wow.
distance. So they
Well, they wanted it to be a
Yeah, right. Wow.
so they brought all their stuff in here. Well, that's what Pittsfield did to that lake around GE,
well,
Silver
it's
Lake.
all over. Is it? Yeah, those are
Oh,
PCBs.
Pittsfield.
Right.
Pittsfield, they figured they put 125 million pounds of PCBs from the power transformer building. It spilled
yeah.
over into Silver Lake. They couldn't clean the lake, so they capped it. The lake has got a rubber cap on the whole bottom of the lake, and now
A
they're
rubber
cleaning
cap
it.
on the bottom of the lake.
They
To
try to
keep
get
it from spreading.
for keeping the
Yeah.
PCBs coming up.
And there's no way they can.
They try to
neutralize
get it out. It would have been unbelievably expensive to try to dig down and pull out all the dirt and everything. They've done sections of the Housatonic River, but there's much more to do. GE, the mayor signed a $50 million deal, but that's not enough. The state's still after them more and more. GE gave the plant to the city, all the buildings. They said, we don't
They
want
gave
them.
that plant to this.
They said, we don't want them unless you tear them all down. I noticed in your...
What'd you say?
Maybe-
You don't want them unless.
no, the city didn't want the buildings, and the plant, unless they tore down the buildings.
Is
So-
that so?
So you've been out there and you saw that most
I've
of the
seen
buildings
that.
were gone.
Yeah, that lake.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that up there. I'd be scared. You got good hands. But when you were driving in your video, I noticed, and you pointed out on the left, the GE, the land now, most of it, half of the GE is the Pittsfield land, and they're trying to develop a technology center out there for health technology and stuff
Are
like
the
that.
buildings contaminated?
They're all gone.
All gone.
They're
the
all
ground
gone.
is, and the
What,
settlement.
what are those great big long buildings then?
The metal building is still there. That General Dynamics uses some of them, and the metal building was used to put power transformers and shoot lightning at it. They were testing the lightning arresters on the transformers. That building they've rented in the past. General Dynamics still uses stuff there. GE sold what was left, plastics, their headquarters on Dalton Ave, to SABIC, a Saudi Arabian group, owns the plastics now. There's probably about 300 employees in Pittsfield off SABIC.
What'd you say about Dalton?
It's on Dalton Road that runs
okay.
between Tyler Street
Oh,
and Coatesville, Allendale Shopping Center, Coatesville corner. So it's sad what's happened to the community, but they're still cleaning it up. There's so much there, and
And the land belongs now to the city?
most of the building there. Yeah, they're trying to develop a center there, but they can't have food on it and they can't have children on it. That was part of the agreement with the state.
Who wanted
EPA.
that? The
EPA
EPA?
said you can't do it.
EPA said you can't sell
Can't
it
do
to
it.
them? Give it to
No,
them?
you can't. You can have it, but you can't build things that were going to house children, like the carousel
Like
or any
Love Canal.
restaurants.
This is like Love Canal.
Exactly. And that was over years. And GE knew about this back in the 1950s.
Did they know? When they
Well-
were dumping all that stuff, did they know?
Well,
Did they know what they were doing?
Yeah. In 1958, one of the employees of GE, I found a letter online named Niederjohn. I knew his son had written to say that these PCBs can be carcinogenic and dangerous, and they continue doing it. And then
Where did he
stopped.
write that letter?
It was sent to the heads of GE or something. It's online. I found it. But
And so
then they
that this-
stopped. I think they stopped. I'm trying to think what year they stopped. 1970. I don't know the year they stopped. doing
20 years later?
it. Yeah, it was quite a while later. They stopped.
20 years?
Yeah, you'll have to investigate that. I don't have my dates right.
Well, that would be the Love Canal thing with
Yeah.
Carborundum.
Yeah.
What's her name? What's her name?
Yeah, I remember that.
What's her name?
Right.
Erica Brockvanovich.
Aaron.
No, the company.
Oh,
Oh,
the company
not
of that. Yeah,
DuPont.
yeah.
If they make,
DuPont?
Right.
No.
no, Nash. They make the batteries,
Delco.
the
AC.
copperhead batteries. Those.
Oh, Duracell? No.
Yeah, Duracell.
Duracell,
Make
yeah.
Duracell.
This is a beautiful lake. It's sad.
And
They
it's
just kept
man-made.
boating on it,
Yeah.
And it's man-made, folks.
So they couldn't drain it, and really, they'd have to take out
Well,
so
it's
much.
the same thing with
Yeah,
the
gee.
Berkshires, with
Yeah,
Silver
they
Lake.
it was so widespread. Well, that one that was right next to the plant, they dumped everything in it. And the city used to dump snow in it in the winter with salt and dirt and everything. But now they have fish growing in it. They said it's not safe to eat fish for a couple of generations because mercury and PCBs accumulate in the fish's bladders and stuff, and it takes several generations of no PCBs before.
What is PCB? I don't know.
Polybiphenylchlorinate.
And what are the dangerous
It's a chemical.
What are the
It's
dangerous
like-
chemicals? Chlorine?
It's the combination of chemicals have been shown to cause cancer in laboratory animals.
And what
They
are those
haven't shown
chemicals?
it in humans because you can't test human beings.
What are those chemicals? Chlorine?
Yeah, it's a chlorine compound. Biphenyl. Poly is many. Biphenyl are the rings off of the chlorine molecule.
Huh.
So that's it's something to study about.
Jim, our
These-
meal is ready.
Oh.
Want some help?
Yeah.
All right.
For a little tiny one that you can take with you.
Nice trip.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have a surprise party that we had to stretch the truth on.
No, it's not much stretch. It's getting
It's a
later.
little stretch. It's getting later. This was almost dinner. It was our dinner. We only eat 2 meals a day.
Yeah, right. One meal a day starts in the morning and ends at night.
My sister put us in a bind, didn't she? I got to tell you one more story. Not with the camera. This is a cute story. We have a friend who's passed on, but he was a physician. And his birthday was close to mine. And what we did was we did a surprise birthday party for him. But how we did it is his wife and my wife told him that they were going to do a surprise birthday party for me. And he had to keep me occupied. So he kept me busy for about 3 hours. In that 3 hours, all of his friends came to his house because he was going to hold the birthday for me at his house so I wouldn't be suspicious. So we get into the house and they start singing happy birthday and he's laughing and pointing at me. We pull one on you, he looks around the room. They were all his doctor friends. So we stretched the truth on that one.
Yeah, that's a real stretch.
That was a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. God be with you both.
Thank you.
All the way from Columbus, Ohio, folks, on their way to Pittsfield, and then somewhere in Connecticut, too. Where are they going in Connecticut? Thank you for the good that you were today, people. Thank you for your blessing on us all. And thank you, you great big tree growing bigger all the time. I think the willow tree is putting out a right branch. Don't you? That's right. And see, we kept them from trimming it. Never should have trimmed it in the first place. It was such a little tree last year. And look at the size of it this year. They're always whistling at their work.
Adventist vegetarian, but it used to be that when people thought Adventist, they thought vegetarian. You see the ratio here, about 10 times more Adventists vegetarian than the US population. And why are we vegetarians is what I'm going to speak to you a little bit about, and then I'll also give you some historical background as how we became strong in Adventism, just vegetarianism. So the first reason why we're vegetarian is that we believe that according to the Bible, from the very beginning, God's original diet was vegetarian. And as our Creator, He knows best. And the first chapter in the Bible, Genesis 1:29, says, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. So that's one of the major reasons that we believe God wanted us to have this, is because that's the best diet for us as human beings.
Genesis 1:29.
29, yes. And then the other thing is that we believe that it is important for us to take care of our body. And that's an honor and a worship to the God who created us. And one of the verses in the Bible that we quote quite a bit is this one, which is found in 1 Corinthians 6, verse 19 and 20, which says, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You are bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. So for us, it's an act of worship, not only because we think He, the one who made us, knows best, but also we want to take good care of it, and vegetarianism would be the natural way to do it, one of the best ways to do that. So now in terms of our church denomination, our church actually as a denomination began with 4 founding members back in the early 1800s. On the left there you see this is Joseph Bates, he was a sailor. There's Ellen Harmon and James White, they eventually got married, and then J.N. Andrews. These were 4 founders that met soon after William Miller, who was a preacher about 2 hours north of here, had preached about the second coming of Jesus. And people were expecting him, and Jesus didn't come, and people were very disappointed. And so some of the people totally left God and religion, but these people remained, and they decided to bond together and study the Bible again to see what went wrong. So these 4 were really the ones that started this core group of people that dug into their Bibles and became the founders of our church. In 1863, for legal purposes, they instituted the church as a denomination legally. So now vegetarianism, this is where it comes in. This man called Joseph Bates, he was a sailor, and back in the days in the 1800s, early 1800s, he became very interested in health reform. That was an era where there was a lot of health reform, the 18th Amendment that had to do with alcohol. He actually had a ship that he called a temperance ship, where he promoted healthy behavior and eventually vegetarianism. One of the things that inspired him is he looked at potato-eating Irish laborers, and he noticed that those who were vegetarian were outdoing the work of those who were not vegetarian. So that struck him. And then he also read about Sylvester Graham, the one from whom we have the graham crackers. And he was very much pro-health. He advocated not drinking tea, coffee, alcohol, fresh water, no snacks between meals, regular sleep, all the good stuff that we know now. So by 1843, Joseph Bates had completely become vegetarian. And I was at the peak of the temperance movement, which is when the American Vegetarian Society became organized also. So the lifestyle that Joseph Bates and the likes of him had was pretty much one that became the way that Seventh-day Adventists lived. To this day, Seventh-day Adventists advocate temperance, not drinking alcohol. We traditionally don't do coffee even, caffeine. We don't do illegal drugs, no meat, and even for those who do meat, they do the kosher meat if they're going to do it. But it's encouraged to be vegetarian and healthy, exercising outdoors, etc., etc. So again, this is a time when meat was the thing to do, and smoking was the big thing. So that was against the stream, and so vegetarians was very, very tiny group, but our church took it seriously for several reasons. One of them was one of the founders that I mentioned here, Ellen Harmon, became someone who was very instrumental in our church, and she was impressed that this was very, very important to health. She actually had a vision where she saw that this was so important. She said that, she says back in the day she was eating meat, and she decided that it should be banished from her table because she saw that it was bringing people cancer and all sorts of diseases back in the days. She decided that this is what she said, whether I'm at home or abroad, nothing of this kind is to be used in my family or come upon my table. That's how strong she was of a vegetarian. And then one thing that happened is when she went to Australia to live there for a few years, and while she was there, she witnessed animal cruelty. One of the habits that the Australians had was to, I have it here, they would put the head of a cow and tie it down so they can milk it. And she said that was barbaric, and she also noticed that animals were suffering. And so that was one of the times that she said, you know what, I'm going to make a pledge to my Heavenly Father. She says to discard meat as an article of diet. She wouldn't even have animals in her yard. She says, I will not eat flesh myself or set it before my household. She says, not a particle of the flesh of animals is to be placed on the table. And then she also gave orders for people to sell all the fowls that she had at the time. And one of the things she says when she died in in the early 1900s, she said, it has been many years since I've had meat on my table. And she says, I have lived and been able to live much healthier as a result and much stronger. She also said that she was very strongly impressed that physicians should not encourage people to eat meat. She says, physicians who claim to understand the human organism ought not to encourage their patients to subsist on the flesh of dead animals. They should point out the increase of disease, and they should encourage people to practice vegetarianism. So that's in the early 1800s. Some of the diseases she attributed to vegetarianism, to eating meat, was cancer, tumors, scrofula, TB, and other infections. So she could see that this was bringing on a lot of diseases because it wasn't supposed to be. And she did say that it was not made for consumption. The other thing that she was very into was that she advocated vegetarianism because she said that animals see and hear and love and fear and suffer. I'm quoting her here. She says, what man with a human heart who has ever cared for domestic animals could look into their eyes so full of confidence and affection and willingly give them over to the butcher's knife? And so that was another main reason. And she actually was hesitant about vegetarianism because it wasn't popular. Sometimes she would eat it, but once she became convinced about animal cruelty, she says, I will never, ever, ever touch meat or have it in my house. So not only it is something that we do as Seventh-day Adventists because of our beliefs in regards to God, but also it's because of the way we believe God wants us to treat animals. And one of the things that you might be interested to know is that because we were very much into health, in the early days there was a man called Harvey Kellogg, and his brother, who were some of the first ones to institute a sanatorium, they called it back in the days, and to have vegetarian food in their cafeteria. And presidents from all around the world would come to their hospital and their clinic because they had the best treatments ever. And it was all part of vegetarian eating and living a healthy lifestyle. And so cornflakes, every time you see cornflakes, it has some connection with the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Even though he was Seventh-day Adventist and he didn't remain necessarily till the end of his life, but he was very much a strong Seventh-day Adventist when he became the founder of this and did the sanatorium. And I think this is all. Let me just summarize again the reason why we Seventh-day Adventists are vegetarians. First, because we believe it's God's original diet, so therefore it's the best for us. He was best. We also believe that it was not made for human consumption, and that is causing animal cruelty. We also believe that we need to take good care of our body, therefore eat healthy, therefore eat vegetarian. And finally, we believe that being vegetarian is an important aspect of eating and living healthy, because it's not only about your body, but it's also about your mind. And just eating meat, not being kind to animals, has to do with also that compassion aspect that God wants us to have. And it's very difficult to have both of them together. And living healthy with a good conscience is one of the best ways to be happy. And that's my presentation.
Dr. Jocelyn Celestin, would you like to add anything?
No, I think she has spoken.
You're going to let her have the last word?
I have a question.
Yes?
How long did she live? I'm just curious. You almost said the date of her death.
95 years, I
She was
think.
95?
Yeah,
Wow, look at that.
95
And
years.
that's ancient for that time, yeah?
Yeah, she lived 95, and she wasn't actually vegetarian at the beginning of her life, because back in the days, if you traveled a lot, and if you went to someone's house, the thing they give you because they liked you was a pig. But when she found out, in fact, Joseph Bates was actually lived longer, and he was vegetarian when younger. And so even though she started late, I think she benefited quite a bit. Yes?
Is that 30 to 35%? Is that pretty static, or is it going up or going down?
You know, that's a good question. I looked at one of the studies that, was it 6 months ago, that they were saying that some of the younger generation, it kind of evens out, because some of the younger generation are not doing the strict diet that their parents did, which was a lot of them vegetarians. But then there are also a lot of them that are becoming aware of animal rights and all these things, and that are also doing it. So it looks like it's pretty stable. I think it goes up and down, but it's still a fairly higher prevalence than the general population.
I thought it was a little more than that, but that's just my kind
Yeah,
of
you know what, I
perception,
think it might have been higher when, I would say, maybe 20 years ago. The other thing that you have to, that comes to my mind is, because this is spread out throughout the world, there are a lot more vegetarians in the United States and in countries like here, where people are more likely to have options and information about it than maybe in other countries where people raise their own thing and they don't really have meat. So I have found in my experience that in some cultures, because of the challenges related to eating vegetarian food or vegan, you have a higher population of Adventists that
I didn't understand that percentage. The 30 to 35, is that the amount of people that are Seventh-day Adventists that are vegetarian?
Yes, so basically
so
one
some
out
are
of
not.
3. One out of, yes.
I see, okay.
Some are not, just like everything else, you
I
have
see,
some that
yeah.
figure, some of them are by name,
Right.
but they don't live the life.
And then 3% was for the United States?
Yes.
So 97% eat meat.
Exactly. As that was 2012, I believe that's what it was.
What about fish? Well, do Seventh-day
Um,
Adventists generally eat fish or
Most
no?
of us who are vegetarian don't do any animal flesh at all. That includes ovo-lactose, so they might do dairy or egg, depending. But usually, Seventh-day Adventists who are vegetarians do not do fish either. Yeah.
I will not eat honey. And the reason I will not eat honey is that the bees work too hard for it. And I think it's terrible to take it away from them.
I never thought of it that way.
No,
I mean,
thank
they-
you very
they work
much.
their lives.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brown.
Oh,
I just opened a new ice cream here. You want some?
I'll take my
Is that
answer
the
right
same
now.
flavor,
The other
the
side, if
turtle?
we're not.
That's very good, I have to say.
You know,
That's better
the,
than the one we
It's
got.
interesting you talked about the mariner, the sailor.
Oh, yes.
You know the Pitcairn Islanders.
Yes.
I believe are Seventh Adventists.
Yes.
Yeah, the
That's
whole island,
because
the whole island, yeah.
they when the American ship showed up, they had a Seventh Adventist missionary out,
Yes,
and
yes.
he stayed on the island, right?
Yes, exactly.
The last, I think the last mutineer was still alive,
Yes.
and he was converted. to
Yeah,
Seventh
that's a very
Adventism.
important piece of history, yes.
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
interesting.
so that
Can
was,
you
that
make
the whole
it,
island, I think, as far as I know, has been
Take hers off.
basically Seventh-day Adventist.
Yeah.
So you want to take
Oh, are you
it?
going to show something else?
Yeah, that's
She
quite a
wanted me
bit.
to put on the Hawaiian doctor.
Dr. Jocelyn, could you dismantle our...
Yes, yes, let's do that.
Apparatus.
This is coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah, try it.
Which one is
Mocha.
this? Chocolate and peanut butter syrup. I think I've tried
This is,
I did not try that.
You haven't tried
No, I did not.
The libraries.
Pass him a
there's a little
spoon, will
bit
you
of
please?
this left. This is the turtle.
There's a spoon here, I don't know if it was.
Oh, you know what, I've got a spoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's something
I don't
in that
want- I don't
bag
want
too.
to buy it.
Here. There's a spoon in here.
The way the calendar is set up, we use, I think, Arabic calendar. To most people, the seventh day of the week is Sunday, because the way it's laid out. So like, the way you're doing it, Sunday is actually day one,
Yes.
and day seven is actually Saturday.
Yes, and actually, if you look at the way calendars were made from the beginning,
Yeah.
Saturday.
Sunday was always the first day.
It was always
Yeah, and in fact, if you speak Spanish, the day Saturday, in several languages, the day Saturday is the equivalent of Sabbath. Like Spanish, Saturday is Sábado, and that's there are several languages, so if you go back, the first day has always been Sunday.
Could we all have your attention, please? This is the Vegetarian Society of Hawaii.
Oh.
And could we get, the volume is over here, right there.
By means of vegetarian education, as we've grown to become one of the largest all-volunteer nonprofit vegetarian societies in the nation, it is now time for our special guest. We're delighted to have with us tonight Patty Brightman. Patty Brightman is the founder and director of the Marin Vegetarian Education Group and a co-founder of Dharma Voices for Animals. She is on the advisory council of the Animals and Society Institute, an effective not-for-profit organization that brings science and knowledge together with ethics and compassion. Patty has been a vegan since 1986 and has been teaching cooking classes for 15 years. Her newest book, written with Carol J. Adams and Virginia Messina, RD, MPH, is Never Too Late to Go Vegan, the Over 50 Guide to Adopting and Thriving on a Plant-Based Diet. She's also the co-author of How to Say No Without Feeling Guilty and of How to Eat Like a Vegetarian, even if you never want to be one. She and her husband Stan live in Marin County in California, and she has 3 sons and 2 granddaughters that she got the easy way by marrying Stan 26 years ago. Patty Brightman's presentation tonight is entitled Never Too Late to Go Vegan, Why and How to Make the Switch for a Better Life. Please join me in welcoming Patty Brightman. Thank you, Lorraine. How beautiful. Thank you. That's gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Hawaii.
Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Vegetarian Society of Hawaii, and thanks to all of you, mahalo, for coming out tonight. Whew. This is beautiful, isn't it? Okay, so I am not a registered dietitian, I'm not a doctor, I am not a cook professionally, I'm not a chef. Basically, I have been a vegan for 25 years and I love it. And I am a partner, a professional partner with Carol J. Adams, who wrote a very famous book many years ago called The Sexual Politics of Meat. And since then, she's written more than 20 other books. And when I was a literary agent, I represented her, and we became friends. So we wrote, our first book together was called How to Eat Like a Vegetarian, Even If You Never Want to Be One, because a lot of people say, well, I could eat that way if somebody would cook for me, or I would eat that way once in a while, but I can't see doing it forever. People don't want to label themselves anything. People don't want to say, I'm a this, I'm a that. We already have enough labels. So we wrote that book for people who don't want to identify as vegetarians, but want to eat that way more and more. Speaking of which, I'd love to know how many people in the room are not yet vegetarians. Please raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Wonderful. And how many people in the room were not born and raised vegetarian? Please raise your hand. So everybody look around. Very few of us were born and raised vegetarian. Are there any vegans in the room?
Since she's not actually in the room, I don't feel I need
Are there
to
any
make eye
people moving
contact
toward
with her.
veganism? Playing with it. Wonderful, thank you. A lot of people in every category, and I'm thrilled that each of you is here. Okay, so I said who I am, and I want to talk about why I wrote this book, Never Too Late to Go Vegan. A lot of people write off people over 50 as don't even bother trying to change their minds. They're too old, they're too stuck in their ways. People over 50 aren't going to change. They're used to their recipes, they're used to their medicine, they don't want to change, leave them alone. There's a marvelous organization called Vegan Outreach that targets college campuses and tries to tell people on college campuses all the fabulous reasons why you should be going vegan. And they think if you convert someone who's young, you'll save more animals over that person's lifetime than if you convert someone over 50. So they put all their energy into teaching about veganism to young people because they figure there's a lifetime ahead of them of saving animals' lives.
Do you want a copy of my notes?
Carol and I resented that.
And I guess you get the color copy.
We're both well over 50. We don't like that you're telling us it's, you're not going to bother with us because we're not going to save as many animals as the younger people. So we decided we needed a book for people over 50. Now, we were already on a path to writing a book called What Do Vegans Eat? And we had sent surveys out to hundreds of people who promised to write down what they had for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks for a week. So we could compile what's a typical meal for people who are vegan. Anyway, we got those results back and we were kind of shocked by the results. A lot of people over 50 who answered what they eat normally. We also asked questions about social things. How do your friends react when you went vegan? How does your family react to you going vegan? And people over 50 had a surprising number of challenges. We were surprised. A lot of people who went vegan after they were 50 said that their friends stopped inviting them out. There were couples that went out every week for years to, a movie and dinner, or they had a card game. And their friends didn't know what to make for them, or didn't know how to go to a restaurant with them, and were embarrassed when they asked questions to the waiter. So a lot of people got uninvited to social events. Well, living long has a lot to do with your social life, not just what you eat. And people who don't have something to look forward to once a month or once a week, people who aren't out socializing, don't live as long as people who do have something to look forward to. Which is another great reason to join this Vegetarian Society, because you have regular meetings to go to with nice people. But we found out that it's an issue we had to address if we were talking about going vegan over 50. And in the book, we teach you ways to say to your friends, hey, I can take care of myself. Don't worry about me. Please keep inviting me. Or I've made this change and it has nothing to do with you and I don't want you to feel inconvenienced. I know how to bring something to a dinner you're preparing and I'll bring my own vegan food. Please don't uninvite me. So we tell people to meet that issue right up front. So we wrote this book because we wanted to address those issues so that people didn't think, I'm too old, I'm too set in my ways, it's not going to work for me. It actually works dramatically quickly when you give up the animal products and you add so many nutrient-rich plant kingdom products. The changes physiologically happen fairly fast. If you get a blood test tomorrow and spend about 1 month being a vegan, and get a blood test again, you'll be amazed. Most new vegans, not everybody, but most new vegans see an improvement in their blood pressure. Most new vegans see an improvement in their cholesterol levels. Most new vegans lose some weight. Not everybody, but most. And so we wrote this book because people over 50 need to lower their cholesterol levels. Most people over 50 need to lose a little bit of weight. Most people over 50 need to lower their blood pressure. And that was sort of our excuse intellectually for writing the book. But the real reason we wrote the book was we love animals, we love our planet, and we really don't want to spend our last years on the planet in nursing homes and hospitals if we don't have to. So the book is for people of every age, but especially people over 50 are going to learn a lot from it. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody who can't hear me, raise your hand. So, I was an editor in New York City, and I was editing books about disease, and I was editing humor books. Mad Magazine had an anthology of its issues, a little paperback that came out once a month, and I was the editor, figuring out which magazines went in which issues. So I worked with all the people at Mad Magazine, and I also edited health and disease books. And it was a nice balance, because the disease books were very depressing, and the health books and the comic books, the humor books, really perked me up. I edited the New York City Cab Driver's Joke Book, which is where I get some of these terrible jokes. But anyway.
Okay, I've been asked to shut it off. Sorry,
getting
didn't mean to
into
do that.
Sandy, what were you doing from ages 31 to 40?
Pretty much the same thing I'm doing now.
Really?
Wow. Raising children, teaching school, I guess.
And can you recall any interesting events of that decade?
Well, sure, the birth of my children, my 3 children during that decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. And moving. I guess that's when we moved here from Canada.
And Dr. Gary, what were you doing from age 31 to 40?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not a doctor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know that. It sounded kind of good though,
Is
didn't
it?
it?
Yeah, I
It
know.
sounded alright. 31 to 40, let's see, 31. Well, we moved here. And then when I first moved here, I was like a gypsy.
A gypsy?
I was a gypsy, yeah, because I had a motorcycle business. And I was traveling up and down most of the East Coast buying antique and vintage motorcycles. And I had a shop in England where we restored them and sold them off. So that was for the first few years, and then I got back into education after that. I got a real life again.
Kelly, what were you doing from ages 31 to 40?
Oh, you know.
How old are you now, Kelly?
17.
Tell us what you do, Kelly. She's an all-A student, folks.
Congratulations.
Are you going to be a senior next year?
Yes. I work, and that's a pretty boring life.
What school do you go to?
I go to Columbia.
Okay.
And Madeline, what were you doing ages 31 to 40?
Well, I stopped working at my job and I went back to college and got my degree. Yeah, well, it took me 5 years to go get my associates, but I did. And
I did that too.
and that's when I started being an activist for animals, so that took up a big chunk of my time right there
That
doing
was
that.
wonderful, what you did.
And I moved from downstate back up to here because my mother was not doing well, so I came up here to spend time with my mother. So that's what I was doing.
What years were those?
I moved back up here when I was 31, and my mother passed away when I was 34, so, and then I went to school when I was 35. College is always better when you're older, just better to go if you can when you're younger, but if you can't, like I couldn't, it was much better when I was in my 30s.
Well, yeah, no question, it's a hard time to do it.
Older and wiser, right?
Yeah, well, I wasn't partying anymore, so that made a big difference.
And Doug Van Auken,
Yeah.
what were you doing 31 to 40?
I remember once before, Nancy, well, I was a little bit like her. I went to college a little later. I had just graduated from Cornell when I was 30, and I wasn't ready to take a full-time job, so I traveled the whole country
Want some chocolate milk?
with my favorite transportation, my favorite hobbies and worked in newspapers from one end of the country to the other and rode the rails and did a lot of stuff. Was part of the Freedom Train for the Bicentennial. That was in there when I was 33, 1976. Yeah, looking forward to doing some of that again now, going into retirement somewhere here.
Yeah. Dr. Maude, what were you doing ages 31 to 40?
Raising my children, most for the most part. We moved 5 times in that time. We moved from Mexico to California to Florida to Massachusetts and to here in that time frame. And I homeschooled my kids and I taught part-time. I translated a few things, but mostly spent the time homeschooling my children.
How long have you lived up here for?
We moved to Columbia County.
19 years. 19 years?
Yeah, to the area, and to Columbia County, I think 16 years ago? 16 years. Something like that. Yeah, 16 years ago we moved to Columbia County, but we were in Albany for 2 years before. So.
Where do you live?
Here in Valencia.
Valencia. Nice town, Valencia.
Yeah, I was born in Brooklyn, but I wouldn't go back there. I like upstate.
Where did the, when you were speaking before, you said the, let me see if I can do it. I can't do it. You trilled your R.
Oh, R.
Did you hear that? You
When?
when you were speaking. It was
I
lovely.
probably
Did you hear it when you said it?
I don't think I noticed.
Do you
but-
speak Spanish?
Yes.
That must be where it came from. It was an English word, but you really trilled that R. It sounded
that
very
happens
nice.
to me all the time. I get confused after a while.
It's not a Brooklyn thing.
That's a
That's why I
result
was
of
wondering.
traveling, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Have you been to the Equine Advocates, the horse farm, the horse rescue
Which
down
one?
there in Columbia County?
I think I went there once.
I
we
was
would go
just
there. We would go there with the homeschool kids and everything. But yeah.
I was just there a couple weeks ago because they had their open house. And it was
What's
really
that,
good.
Tony?
It's a horse rescue. It's down in Columbia County. It's on Route
Littlebrook?
66.
Yeah, Littlebrook.
Yeah.
Is it Littlebrook?
Yeah.
I thought it was Equine something it was called.
Could be the second part of it.
Well, they're having another open house, July 13th, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, we have friends that.
So Tony,
No.
your turn. What?
Oh, I was on my second phase of going back to college when I did my career change to get into IT. So I was part of those years I was in college and then starting my career in computers
And where do you work now, Tony?
with the state.
And what do you do for the state?
I do IT computer work with the Attorney General's office.
Over in Troy, right?
Yeah, fun stuff.
Do you hate it?
And Dr.
No,
Jocelyn, Dr. Jocelyn, tell us what you were doing from 31 to 40.
31 to 40, let's see,
Were you involved
31.
with the Academy for Christian Leadership?
I was in training,
My daughter went there for.
most of those times. I mean, medical training takes a lot of years. I was counting the
But
number
it's
of
not,
years I've
it's
been
no
in
longer
school.
going.
29 years I've been in school.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
Wow.
She went to medical school. in
So,
Pennsylvania.
so a lot of training.
Years. Yeah.
And tell, any interesting events you can tell us about that?
A girl from my church went
Uh,
there. She transferred there from the
hospital,
public school.
residency, fellowship
My
training.
daughter
Those are very demanding in terms of time,
looking
especially when you're in family.
Academy,
Rough.
read on the website that it had
How many
closed.
children do you have?
Two
It's
children.
disappointing.
And one is
Yeah.
also went to med school, went to BU, also
Yeah.
university, and he's doing residency in surgery. He wants to be a surgeon.
Your son?
Where's he going to school?
Bless his heart.
He's at Harvard.
I don't know why.
Do they
And
recycle?
he was never an
Or
early
nurse?
bird, which is a
Recycle
weird
or
thing,
no?
because you know.
Are most surgeries early?
Well, yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
have to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5
Oh,
o'clock in the
really?
morning.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
doing a residency.
I
And we're
see.
like,
Yeah.
really? Do you wonder why? Well, he allowed to use
What's
it.
the challenge?
He went overseas, like he went to Yemen and he went to Haiti when they had earthquakes. He had to grow that arm on her. And he really
Are we recycling?
Oh,
I just threw
yes.
everything away. No, we don't. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
So he wants to be trained and go to other countries or wherever.
It's all recyclable,
I
really.
think that's what.
I yell at my
He has a degree
coworkers.
in public health.
I recycle kind of all the time, but.
In fact, the name should have been the giveaway, Celestin for.
Yeah, Celestin.
Are you familiar with the problems in the Dominican Republic right
Yes,
now?
yes.
Do you have family there or?
No. Like, we have immigrated here several years ago. So most people are either here or someplace else.
What do you mean problems? My coworkers from there.
Well,
Right behind you, Glendora.
right now, there's a lot of undocumented Haitians in the Dominican Republic. And they were encouraged to come by the Dominican government.
Oh, really?
And there were some brought over by sugar companies and other companies into the Dominican Republic so that, for their labour. And a lot of the people who arrived, the first thing that happened was they had their papers taken away. So subsequently, the children of those people are undocumented. Some don't even have birth certificates. And now the Dominican government are saying that the problems of the Dominican Republic are because of the 800,000 or 1 million Haitians who are living here. And we need to get rid of them, and that's what they're talking about doing right now. And we have a non-profit that works with a community group in the Dominican Republic that's about half and half Dominicans and Haitians. So we're really worried about some of our friends there and some of the people that work with our community group because they are undocumented.
I'll have to ask him because he always goes back and forth. Because his father recently passed away last year, so he's doing a lot of stuff with that, his house and everything, so.
In fact, the wife of our friend Jean-Michel, who really started New Horizons, she is essentially undocumented, and she could be picked up tomorrow and sent back to Haiti, as could the son.
Even though she was born there?
Even though, well, actually Miu wasn't born in, she was born in Haiti, but the son and daughter were born in the Dominican Republic. And Rebecca is hoping to attend medical school, so she has just recently, just in the last year, got the papers that she needs to become a resident. But the son and wife don't.
That was very good today.
You can save some
So
food
it's
for you
very
if you get there
difficult.
in the kitchen.
Thanks.
If you come at the right time.
Could you start again from the beginning? These are Haitians living in the Dominican Republic who because of the earthquake,
Well, no, it was really before that.
even before that.
Even before that, they were encouraged to come. And
Yes.
One last one, going once, twice, thrice.
It's not unusual for politicians to always find culprits,
Well,
things that are
exactly.
going well.
See
And
ya.
that has happened all over the place in Europe.
Right.
At one time, it was the Jews that were causing trouble in Germany, and
Well, we all thought
Sandy.
that in the recent election, we all thought that the new president, he ran on the platform of this. But we all thought it was just bluster.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
And
Bye.
when he was
Take
elected,
care, drive safe.
and that was actually looking like it's going to.
yeah, well, you just pondering.
Yeah. And it's not 1937, the Parsley Massacre. That's still in people's memory, people. So it's very, it's a worry, right?
Yeah. What's the organization that
It's
you're
called
involved with?
New Horizons Foundation.
Yeah, my tofu never comes out hard
It's
and
actually,
crispy like that.
in the US, we're
Do you
incorporated
get the
with the
hard one?
Yeah,
New
but
Horizons
it does sometimes.
Foundation, Funo,
I put it in olive oil.
Fundación.
Yeah, I think
Bake
they
it,
get,
yeah.
I like it
Oh,
better
bake
than,
Spanish
yeah.
name.
I just discovered
There's
a trick,
a
there's a little trick to it, and it has to be the right time and the right everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I use cornstarch now.
Some brands are different also.
Yeah. Well,
Banana bread?
I use cornstarch.
It's
that makes
vegan.
it a little
It
crispier.
works.
But this tofu is
Where
really
are
like
your-
part of the
What did you use
children
for
do that?
like
The son and the daughter. Our daughter, she's 24.
Do you use that energy egg replacer? Yeah, we do that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
yeah, I
I
got
wonder if
that.
it's different type.
Oh, so you buy it like what they probably buy.
So we have a bag.
Yeah.
Daughter right now.
Where?
And
Right
cheaper.
now, neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's a yearling, just been thrown out.
Am I picking these up,
As long as nobody
Glendora?
bothers it, and it stays
Yeah,
away
yeah,
from
yeah.
houses.
Anybody wanna take them, they
Doesn't
can?
go
Did
into
he
all
get
the
married
air.
in Boston?
The,
No, in Reading, Pennsylvania.
our neighbours got
That's
Is that where
yours?
his wife
got
was from?
a picture on Facebook and it was right
Oh,
outside.
no,
the-
the
You can
big
take
thing?
that. Yeah,
No,
No, they come back
we
to
need
you.
notes for next meeting.
okay.
Oh, you need
Oh,
them for next one?
so we can't take
Yeah.
them?
This must be heading out this direction.
Thank you so much, Glendora. Sandy.
Thank
Is
you.
this? No.
So did you have a good time, everybody?
Yes.
We had a fantastic
Yeah,
time. Thanks for coming.
Well, thank you.
You know, when you do your outreach for the, you know, like the vegetarian kind of meal thing, who organises that? Is it from your church?
We,
or-
everyone with a church, again, I would say not everyone from the church, but quite a few of our members are
Yeah.
Adventists, and we promote it, so we always have lunch, because we have people coming an hour who drive past other churches, an hour, 50
Really?
minutes.
Wow.
And we value just the community, sense of community, because society is just so dismantled anyway, so we figure if you're gonna rush home, let's just hang out and eat together, and we just bring whatever we have, and those who have bring, those who don't, and we always have enough.
There was like an app I got on my phone called Happy
These are our
Couch, which I
table
can do
cloths,
for
yes.
the vegan and stuff. And when I was out in New Hampshire last week, I was kind of
The tables stay
surprised
up,
to
and I
find
guess
that
the
there's
chairs
one
just
in
stay where they are.
Keene.
Yes.
There's a vegan buffet run by the Seventh-day Adventists in Keene. I was just like, and then, you know, because I was just,
I know people from there, actually. I know one of the ministers from there.
yeah, next time I
Tell
go
Debbie
out,
we
because
missed
I'll
her.
be in my
Yes, I
car, and
will.
then I can stop
her bread
there
was
and
delicious.
check it out.
Yeah.
And I think usually, a lot of
So
the
we're away
times
next month,
we were
Glendora.
known because we would have vegetarian
We're in,
that's good. I hope
over
you
in the old
restaurants and
country.
stuff like that.
Oh, good.
So,
See the
because,
family.
Yes,
so not everyone is,
Glendora
but
wants to- I
we
can,
promote
shut
it
up,
very
honey.
much, so.
Yeah.
Almost everywhere there's an Adventist community now, you'll find either they have a church, they'll have a dinner or something, and it's vegetarian.
Yeah, last week there was like a big motorcycle rally out there in New
Okay.
Hampshire. There's this one spot right beyond Keene where it's set up by a Christian group. It's called Cornerstone is the church. And they have they call it the tent, and it's there for the entire week,
Nice.
24/7, where they give free food and stuff out to people. So I contacted them over the winter, and I said, you know, is there, you gonna have anything for like people that would prefer not to eat meat and stuff? You know, I said like veggie burgers, veggie hot dogs. And I said, you know, if you need help with it, I can help out.
Right.
You know, give them money to buy and stuff, so.
Right.
You know, so
Might
this.
be involved in that.
Yeah, so they did do it this year, because I sent them out some money, but unfortunately, when I went through the tent, it was early in the morning, so they didn't have anything.
When did you,
You know, and then when I went by
I
at
came
night.
here as a graduate student.
No, it was open,
raining.
but it was raining, and my
1980.
cousin who was
Okay.
in front of me just kept driving, I'm like.
You read the
Never
Canadian.
stopped to see the benefits.
Yeah,
of it.
Yeah. I almost didn't come because the kitty's not doing well.
Right.
She can
No,
hardly
I did
walk.
not.
Oh, you're doing.
It's also a new.
I know she'll be all right. I think that the other cats, they
Oh, I
must
see.
have
It's all
just kept
about
her
age.
overnight at
Oh,
the
really?
vet.
So,
Graham Green.
okay,
The
so
novel.
I'll try to get a hold of it.
Yeah,
The
you'll
comedian.
enjoy it.
Yeah,
We
okay.
set her
I'll
up
try
in
to
the
get a hold of
little
it. The comedians.
fence
The
around.
comedians,
You
yeah.
know,
It's an old book.
Okay.
But he
I'll look for it.
he does a nice job. I think you'll enjoy it,
Yeah,
Doctor.
she has to sit up there with her and
Something
try to
happens,
keep her
but-
calm.
Yeah.
You know, for
In
most
the middle
people,
of the night.
progressive, so if you
Yeah.
But I
help
think
them
if you
and
keep
give
her
them
close so she doesn't go
an
and
option,
hurt
they say,
herself.
oh,
She is enclosed, yeah, she's.
Have a good summer,
Hi,
Madeline.
Gary.
Very nice to meet you, Gary.
Nice meeting you, Sandy.
I can't even.
Have a good time.
see
You too. We will. Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, tell George the third we miss
grew up
it.
in an
I will.
Italian family, so everything is meat, and even my
Right.
mother to this day says, what, I don't eat much meat.
Jocelyn, I wanted to say that Glendora brought me to the Bible study that you're leading. I don't know if it was a month ago or how long it was, but I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
it was marvelous. Yes, you certainly do.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time, Jocelyn?
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah,
great.
it's a mindset, because I know
That's
I've been
wonderful.
with people that tell them.
Yeah, it's so nice to hear
Why are you
her,
eating what?
to hear her
Just not
presentation.
salad.
Yes, I bet.
Very
Yes, she gave a very
and
good
you know the thing
presentation.
about
Oh, she did. And she
my brother
prepared
and
it
I-
beautifully.
Yes.
Like my
And
brother's
delivered it,
had
too.
She's always
sleep
well
in his
prepared,
bed
yeah.
and
She what?
She always well prepared.
Oh, yes, she is.
How can
Yes, she
I?
is. Anything she does, she does well.
Yeah.
You say that it's not an emotional thing.
Of course
it is.
All going
There's no
in
way
this
you
basket.
can. Get out there.
Okay, these are funny cups. What's the story with these cups?
Oh, I don't know, maybe you want those?
No.
You know,
You want
I
them?
can't.
No, I just was trying to imagine what they're
done
for.
it, you
I
disconnect
don't
it
know,
until
Maddie, what are these
it
for?
happens.
Madeline knows what they're like.
What?
Yeah.
What's that?
you can
Is it like a
be on the
what-
outside whiskey.
Oh, okay. I've heard of them, but
So
I
I
don't
get her
know.
with some of the
Okay.
dishes that she's made and just do other substitutes for me, so. And a lot of the stuff that's very delicious without the meat.
Right, and the
Is
bias
this all
goes
going in
away.
this box?
You know, just like
Yeah.
you're talking about preparing, you know,
Okay.
stages of preparedness. My daughter, because we raised our kids vegetarian.
Yeah, I'll call you.
My
And
daughter was
anyway,
dating a
we're not
guy.
going to be traveling
He was
because of the
interested,
kid
and
needs to rest.
He would
so.
just stare at her. He couldn't
Yeah.
figure how he can, you know, he would.
Yeah, I
"Oh,
thought
no,
she
this
would just
chicken
sleep,
thing," and
you know,
she'd be
sleep
like,
in the
"No."
car the way she did last time we
And then
traveled, but
one day,
she's
you know, they
food
went out and he
disoriented.
said,
Oh,
okay, well, let me taste this, and it looks so delicious. And he ate it, and he was in awe that it didn't taste as bad as he thought it would. And now he's basically vegetarian, but he had to get through to, okay, actually it's tasty. You know?
It's very hard. When I first did it, it was not
Esther
because I didn't
Raphael
like
called
meat,
me up.
because I loved meat.
And
I was
I didn't get her
raised-
number. I'm missing one digit. And I want to call her back.
Animals. I mean, it,
I
you know,
want to
but
get
of
that
course
number.
that
Do you
had
happen to have that?
I do.
You do?
that we ate our own animals too. In my house, you ate what was put in front of you. You didn't question your parents about what you were eating. Oh my
And
God.
clean your plate.
But the difference in my in the way I
Did you
feel.
eat whatever
Not, I don't
was put in
even
front
mean
of you
physically, I
and
mean
clean your
mentally.
plate?
Yeah.
It's a
No.
huge difference.
Yeah.
And how do you advocate for
Yeah, you
animals
just-
and eat them? You just
You
can't
enjoyed it.
reconcile the two things.
I know.
Okay, doctor.
So who knows? Maybe we'll see you again.
Yes,
I wanted
thank
to
you
ask
for
you
coming.
a question.
Enjoy you.
I
huh?
saw on your PowerPoint that there was a thing that said that about the second coming of Christ, and then it had in parentheses, which will happen sooner, whatever the phrasing was.
Thank you.
That's how the Adventists feel at the moment.
Yes, yes. We don't,
3865.
when we look at our Bible, we
364,
see
3865.
things that tell us it's
Because of what's
close.
happening in the world right
Yeah,
now.
because we
Are you
read
driving
Matthew.
Glendora?
I am.
We're going to leave
Tell
it
you have a
here.
safe trip. Nice
Yes.
seeing you.
I want,
Is that okay?
do you need help with anything?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it out to my car. Not that there's any room in my car because I have all the laundry, but.
Oh.
Yeah, so we feel it's close. It's getting pretty
Nice
close. and we
meeting
see
you.
Basically,
Yes.
most of the
Such a
time,
pleasure
Thank you.
to have met
we
you.
see
Yes.
the Bible that said,
Good night.
like
Good night.
the chrysalis of a butterfly. You don't know which day it's gonna come out. You just see the color, and so that's kind of that way we understand that. You know, like giving birth, and the labor is getting, you know, it's 5 minutes. So we don't usually set a date or anything, but we understand that
Did you have a good time?
basically everything that's to happen has happened or is out there. It's
You
close.
ate so much?
So that's kind of the way we live. Like this is not the end here.
Now what year?
Jesus is coming soon, and a lot of us, we just live with that mindset that we do the most today, but we have this mindset of the bigger picture, you know? This is not the
Sorry,
end.
my cousin's.
You know, anything that happens here is just temporary.
I'm off. I'm not a real religious person. I don't go to church or anything like that, but I'm spiritual.
You don't know?
And I am so ready for that to happen.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, you know,
Matt?
the world's not that bad. God, and the world is awful.
Oh, yeah,
It's getting worse. It's gonna get worse, according to all the
I'm just-
predictions, yeah.
Every time I even go on the internet or read a newspaper or hear the news, I'm just like, what is going on, you know?
And that's what was predicted, okay, so if you look at the Bible, it says it's gonna get worse, just like the labor pains. It's gonna get worse before it gets before it happens. And so, in a way, it's good because it gives us a peace, because we see the things happen, it's like, you know, it's just like labor pains, it's gonna get worse, but we know what it means that
Yes.
it's there. So, yeah, that's kind of our
For the circus. that's
main
all
thing.
there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was very nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be
Thank you
seeing
so
you
much for
again.
coming.
Such a
Nice to
pleasure.
meet you.
If you're in Chatham or in Valencia, we probably run into each other someday.
Come and visit anytime.
Yeah, and our church is there. We're building that big church.
Yes, Glendora has
So
taken me to see it.
we're hoping
Yes.
to have everybody out there when we open the grand opening.
Yes, it looks like it's almost ready. It looks beautiful.
Are you watching us? Oh, okay, she said if she
I-
watches us, it's okay.
I did enjoy
I
the
don't know if
time
it's a
that I,
lot,
you know,
though.
a couple times I've
I'll
gone to
go
church.
out this way.
But I
before you
have a
get
church
there.
here in the village
Praise, you're
Yeah.
pretty
that's so small that
Bye,
you feel, if you don't go, you feel that they might miss you, you know? A lot of the churches are like that.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Glendora, for inviting us.
Oh, thank you for coming.
We had a great time.
And you gave us a very good talk.
Thank you.
Thanks, and
Thank you.
doing what you're doing. I
Yes.
hope you sneak by a church once in a while.
Yeah, well, it's a nice group, isn't it?
Yeah, we miss you at church, Glendora. We miss you at
I've
church.
been traveling, but still, the times I'm there, I haven't seen you. I'm like, where's Glendora? Am I going to be in the vegetarian club still happening? And Doug told me, yeah, it's still on. So yeah.
We have between 8 and 29. The most we ever had was 29. That's too many, really. And last month it was 14.
Pretty good group. All right.
So thank you.
Nice to
Bye-bye.
see you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Have a good night.
Bye. What can I take for
Well,
you, Glendora?
we've got,
I'm going home with you?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Although this is the problem, I have all your other stuff in the car right now, so I don't have a lot of room. Although I have room in the back seat.
I could,
No, I have room in the back seat.
I
just
can
remembered.
follow you with
We're
my,
good.
with
I
that
think
in
we're
my
good.
car if you need room. So can we go out this door here?
Yes.
Can I take this camera, Glendora?
Yeah, what do
in
you
my
want done
car.
with this stuff?
I'm gonna come back with.
Oh, you're going to come back?
All
Yeah.
right.
Oh, wait a second. On that, let me hold
You
on
want to
that.
turn it off?
Yeah, I have to take care of the camera. Thank you.
Oh, I gotta get out of here. It's cold and freezing down here.
Hi, Glendora, it's Sandy. Sorry it took me so long to call you back. Give me a call when you have a chance. Hi. Message erased. Next message. Oh, hi, Glendora. Still trying to call you back. It's Sandy. Try again later. Bye. Listen to your messages, press 1. To send a message, press 2. To listen to your voice messages, press 2. First saved voice message. Oh, hi, Glendora. Still trying to call you back. It's Sandy. Try again later. Message erased. Next message. Hi, Glendora. This is Frances Wooden returning your call. I apologize. It has been being crazy around here. Let's see. Well, where do I start?
Lexi dog.
Lexi has a torn ACL, and we'll be going for surgery on Friday.
Oh.
And we had to go to a wedding this past weekend. We just got home today. And I've been working 9-hour days for the last 2 months, so it's a little crazy and hectic.
This
so
is
I hope
from
all
New
is well with
Hampshire.
you. But that's what's going on with us. And so
Litchfield, New Hampshire.
I will keep in touch, and I will talk to you later. Thanks. Bye. Message erased. End of messages. Listen to your messages, press 1. To send a message, press 2. To change your personal options, press 4. Personal options. To turn message waiting indicator on or off, press 1. To change administrative options, press 2. To record greetings. To change to select a standard. Your greeting has been recorded as. Hi, folks, it's Glendora. The man came home from work and he said to his wife. At the tone, record your greeting. At the end of your greeting, press pound.
Why did the woman wear only one boot to work? The weather report said there was a 50% chance of rain.
We can borrow the tables and put them back. And it's going to be shine at the park and rain at the church. So
That's nice.
So we need to write that down.
I
thought that was the theme, I said, that sounds great.
We're okay. And then, okay.
Maybe you need to recap, like, okay.
Let's have a summary.
Oh, that was the recap, okay.
Here's
Who is doing summary?
Okay, I have it here. Somewhere. I had it written down.
So red, white, and blue, isn't that cute?
I know, but you got that. This is your email. Let me see here. Okay, here it is. Okay, we got setup and cleanup. And we have, so far we have Pat, June, Sandy, Liz,
Diane, Sheila, and Judy. Judy for setup.
Am I setup or cleanup?
Both.
Yeah, of course I am.
Because there are a lot of people, so.
So it's the same crew for setup and cleanup?
Yeah.
Don't forget, we have to add Paul and Robert.
Yeah.
Oh, Robert, yes, and we haven't forgotten Robert or Paul, because
Robert, you just got
Robert and Paul, you are essential to our setup and cleanup.
You can
And
put
put
me
Andy
down
down,
for
too.
put me down for setup
Okay.
and cleanup.
Do you guys want to do Nassau Fest while you're at it?
people for your setup.
You know what, why not? You know what, why can't we join?
I think that's a very.
I think that we,
Yeah.
you know what, include us in your Nassau Fest, and we will, I think so.
You're included.
Okay, and Oktoberfest.
Wow.
Yes.
Oktoberfest.
You know what, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, churches.
You know what, everybody's, all the people who are on the beautification committee are also in Interfaith, so.
Set up and clean up for Oktoberfest.
And we'll join your meetings when you.
I will be here for Oktoberfest.
I like that.
One of the reasons I agreed to come to this small town was,
We get her a bill.
Yeah, sure, Diana will open
they
something.
told me they had an Oktoberfest, and I said, they were like, we have an Oktoberfest. I said, you do? I went, okay, I'm in. That's good. Right?
That was the first event that I remember coming to when we moved to Nassau in 2000. We were like, just kind of, bumbling around. We saw the signs for Oktoberfest, and I'm like, you're kidding. And we walked over with my sister, and it was kind of drizzly rain. And then the next year, my mom and I, because that's the end of the season, we joined the beautification committee. I was so impressed that this tiny community had an Oktoberfest.
I know, that's pretty impressive.
It blew my mind. I
I'll
couldn't.
be here early.
Get your worst.
9 o'clock.
Get your worst.
You okay?
Sure.
Are you?
September,
You
right?
better save your money.
Yeah, late September.
Yeah, no, that's Oktoberfest is September.
Nassau Fest is
Many towns where they
12th of September. And the Oktoberfest will be, I think it's the 26th, it's a Sunday.
So maybe the 27th?
Or maybe the 27th.
Got my rights.
Oh, yeah, I know. No, that's what I'm worried about.
Next committees, what are we?
That's
it. Okay, so that's all the committees there are.
Yes,
We have,
yes, maybe we'll fit these
we have a set of and everyone's bringing their own food, and we have, the music, I'm hearing a lot, but,
Music.
who's contacting us together? That's
Hear the
Sandy.
music.
That's Sandy. Sandy's the kids, Sandy is the kids, and do you need any help with the kids?
Depends how many kids there are.
Okay,
Yeah, but
well,
yeah.
the
Never know.
cleanup committee can help.
But I'm talking about the kids doing the
Oh, that's,
Get the
Diane.
kids and get up there
Diane's
early?
in charge of the rehearsal for the reading.
Okay, but you gotta send me names.
We had to send you some names.
So we need to send names.
I'll ask the Peters family because.
Well, I was on the next term.
Oh, you
know.
can, but,
But you know, somebody else.
yeah.